Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Metanoia Effect. I'm one of your co-hosts, Portia Booker. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background about the word metanoia, it comes from the Greek word which means profound change of the heart, mind, and perspective. And today I'm joined by these two amazing individuals to have this conversation about what this word means to each of us. So metanoia, for me, when you look at the beginning of the word, you think of metamorphosis, like the transformation of a butterfly's life cycle. And for me, that's what really metanoia is all about, is change. We all go through different things in our life, and sometimes change is uncomfortable. But I think there's also a beauty on the journey to becoming who we are through changes. So Dawn, I'm going to throw it to you. What about you? What does metanoia mean to you?
Oh, thank you, Portia. And thank you for coming up with that name when we're trying to come up with names for the podcast. She told us about metanoia. I'd not heard it before, but when she told us what it meant, I was like, oh, that's amazing, because life is a journey, right? And we're always going through constant changes and having these aha moments as we grow and we learn and things like that. So metanoia to me means, those profound aha moments that you can never look at your life the same again, the way you used to. So,
Absolutely. Thank you. And for me, when I first heard it, I wasn't feeling it. I'll be 100% honest. Like, I was not feeling it. I was like, metanoia. I'm like, what is that? Like, no one's going to have any clue what that means. But the deeper we got into the meaning, it's like with what the three of us do, it aligns with that word. It's about rebirth. For my particular journey, it's about helping people take pain and turn it into power, turn it into purpose. And that's exactly what the metanoia effect is. We didn't want to come together and just do another show about motivation. We really want to help people transform their lives.
Yeah, I agree. And I think especially now with what's going on in the world, and as I brought up earlier before we jumped on live, that I've been doing this story campaign on my Facebook and Instagram. And my prompt for today was, what was a profound moment that changed you? And last summer, Dawn, you're privy to this, I had a near-death experience. And it's not the first near-death experience I've had, but this one really stands out because I could have lost my life in seconds. So just to give you guys kind of the background, I was visiting friends in Oklahoma. So shout out to my Okie friends. You guys know who you are. And as I was driving on the highway to go to Tulsa, where I used to live, the vehicle that I was renting popped a tire, and I could have flipped over into a ravine and a building if I was going over 60 miles per hour on an 80 highway. So I walked away completely unscathed. When I tell you guys, I know that my mom literally had her hand in this. When I was able to slow the car down and get out, my heart's like beating through my chest. You know how those moments happen where you're like scared out of your wits. You don't know what to do. You're trying to rationalize who to call, all these things. And I remember getting out of the car and seeing the debris behind me, the tire, the bumper. And when I looked in the sky, there was a blue heron circling over me. Now, I don't know if you guys know much about blue herons, but blue herons are normally around water. And I was about 20 minutes from the Arkansas River, so I wasn't even close to water. So the fact that this blue heron circled over me to remind me that my life was spared, that it wasn't my time to go. And I knew too, Dawn, that we had talked about this, especially in grief. You tend to take grief very personal, which is okay because we all grieve differently, even though we lost the same person. And so in my heart, I was feeling a little bit of resentment towards a few people. But that moment reminded me to let it go. Because in that moment, I could have lost my life, not have seen my family again. Obviously, the love of my life who I've met. So when I think back to that moment, that changed me. That really did change. I mean, yeah, I couldn't drive for a little bit. My hands would shake and just different noises on the road would make me jump. But it did change me for the better.
Yeah. I remember you calling me and telling me about that. So yeah, that's what happens when we realize the fragileness of life, and we become much more grateful and appreciative of what happens, of time and our limited time here, right?
Yes.
I think for me, one of my bigger metanoia moments, and I've got chills when I'm thinking of this, so I know this is the one I want to share. When I went to Africa for the first time, I didn't know anybody there. I was going just because it was a calling in my soul. It always had been a calling to me. And it was the first time, I think, in my life that I was just Dawn. Because before I was my parents' child, then I was my husband's wife, then I was my daughter's mom. And this was the first time that I just got to be me, and I got to experience what that was like, just being myself. And it transformed me for certain. And I think I became more confident, and I got to see myself outside of how everybody else had seen me and defined me up until that point. And I'm very, very grateful that I got to have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Find it. I mean, becoming.
Yeah.
I think that's also the key component in the word meta, transformation. Think about the butterfly from the cocoon all the way to becoming a full-fledged butterfly, which before we even jumped on here, I saw 2 yellow swallowtail butterflies playing in the field. And I knew, and Dawn, you know why yellow swallowtail has a big significance for me, because that was the last picture in my mom's phone that I took the day before she passed away. So, and I asked her to come see me, and that's one of the butterflies I see whenever I think of her. So go ahead, Robert. What's your, even though you didn't like the name, but it's stuck now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely grown on me. I have to admit. But for me, I always start anytime I'm speaking on any platform. I always start with to understand this version of me. You have to understand me growing up. So I'm the youngest of seven, and for whatever reason, I drew the short straw with everything, with genetics. I had a bad stutter. I had a massive overbite. I just had so much wrong that it became my identity. Like I thought something was wrong with me. Like my brothers were over 6 foot tall. They were muscular. Even one of my sisters is 5'9". I was as a freshman in high school. I was 5'4", 88 pounds. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm short. I'm scrawny. I can't talk, so I'm constantly getting teased because I try to talk to my mom, be like, and they're like, "Mom." Like, and that happened for like the first 10 years of my life. I was petrified to speak in class. I was petrified to speak in public, and I wasn't any good at sports. It's like the drive was there, but I'm watching my siblings make headlines and win trophies and ribbons and all of this stuff, and I just wanted it, and I just had it stuck in my head that something was wrong with me. So finally, at the speech pathologist trying to slow down the stuttering. And he just said one sentence that I'll never forget. He's like, "There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to slow down." It doesn't sound like it was something that was so profound, but it really was. He says, "You get so excited to speak that you just trip over your words." He's like, "Just slow it down. If you feel it coming on, pause, and then you slow yourself down." And I'm like, I kept myself in a mental prison for a friggin' decade of my life, and all I had to do was slow down and breathe. And so since that moment, I've been helping other people. Hey, look, just slow it down. It's really not that bad. Let's talk this through and let's get you to the other side of what it is that you're struggling with.
Robert, your story reminds me a little bit of Michael Jordan because I mean,
Mm,
think about all the tries that he had to do in order to become one of the greatest basketball players. I know there's a debate between him and LeBron, but
there's no
again,
debate.
I know there's a debate. I'm not going to go too deep into that because I know you're an athlete and I love basketball. But just the fact, Robert, that simple sentence of you need to slow down, right? In my case, if I didn't slow down in that car, that could have been the end of me,
Mm,
right? Dawn, for you, taking that time to slow down and recognize I get to be Dawn, not the wife of this, not the mother of these 2 children, Dawn. And how many of us go through life literally rushing through everything, right? And we miss those profound moments unless we had slowed down, right? And I think even for me, when I think back to that day with the car, I'm like, I did this. Like I still took control, even though I'm telling y'all, probably my shirt was probably soaked with sweat. My deodorant said you're fired, probably when that happened, because obviously you're scared. But again, it goes back to taking inventory. How often do we not listen to what we're supposed to, and then here we are? Right. And I'm curious for you, this question just like popped in my head for you and Robert, Dawn. When both of you think about both of your lives, all the different lessons that you've learned, all the different people that you've impacted, what continues to keep both of you comfortable in your own skin and not care what people think, considering that there's so many influences every single day?
So before we answer that, I just want to piggyback really quick
Sure.
about the importance of gratitude. So
Mm.
very similar car story. Remember, I'm driving my ex-wife's car, going around the bend. It was very windy this one particular day, very windy. And as I'm going around this bend, a tree branch falls and it hits my car. Like it didn't break the windshield or anything. It didn't really cause any major damage, a little scratch, but I flew off the handle, right? Because I wasn't always this calm and wise, right? And I'm yelling and swearing and all this other stuff. And then I look in my rear view mirror, the tree hit the car behind me. So talk about an aha, like, wow, like 3 seconds, I was 3 seconds away from that tree hitting me. So it quickly shifted from anger to gratitude that quickly. And so just letting people know when you're going through stuff, you really can have that mindset shift quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take you watching a tree hit somebody else, but you can make that mindset shift very, very quickly. All right, go ahead, Dawn.
Portia, you're going to have to repeat the question because I still can't get the image of Robert, like little scrawny, tiny Robert when he was a kid. Even now, like those muscles, and it's amazing. So sorry. So can you repeat that?
Well, I mean, to piggyback really quick on what Robert just mentioned, I mean, Robert, you've had a full transformation, literally, because your story too reminds me of something I read in a book as a kid, not Harrison Bergeron, but there was a story similar to yours where the little kid, he was the runt of everything. Everybody teased him because he was different, but he ended up becoming the star player of the team that he ended up trying out for. But everybody made fun of him because of that, no pun intended, short period of time that he was trying to find himself. And now here you are, you've blossomed. So essentially, Dawn, and also Robert, I'll piggyback on this too with the gratitude. There was one time I was driving down the street during the wintertime, and I watched this young lady car swerved into a pole. Dawn, you remember this story because I told you about it. She swerved into a pole, the Jeep she was driving, and I got out of my car because I saw it. So I went over to her, made sure she was okay. And the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Why does this always happen to me?" And the first thing I thought of was, girl, you don't even realize how grateful you should be right now because that pole could have killed you. Yeah. I mean, it was black ice on the ground. So immediately her car was already swerving because she didn't have good tires. I mean, and so it just made me think of that really quick. But Dawn, back to were you going to say something, Dawn, before I go back to the question?
No, go ahead.
Okay. The question I essentially was asking was, what keeps both of you comfortable in your own skin, considering all the different influences that we have today in the world where people want to continue to dive into this, dive into that? What continues to keep you in your own skin and comfortable and confident to show up in the world today where it seems there's a lot of, if you want to call it, influences going on?
Yeah, and you know what? That one took me a long time. I mean, I'm in my late 50s now, and it's probably within the last...
Are you sure you're not our age?
Our age? I got 11 years on you.
No, but I see the world, and I've always seen the world as love being the most important thing, and being grateful and caring and being kind on each other. And I've had these conversations with people, and they're like, why are you like this? I love all the animals, and and things like that. And people always question me, but I think what's kept me comfortable in my own skin and allowing me to share what I think is like finding my soul family, because again, just got goosebumps. That and I've heard this things like wave your weird flag high so your people can find you. Like when you are your most authentic self, you will find your people. And that keeps me going. That makes me know, okay, yes, I am crazy, but there's loveliness in my craziness, and I can find the people that have that same craziness, and they enjoy it and they celebrate it and they appreciate it. So I think that's like, for me, the biggest thing. It's my soul family. You both are one, two.
For me, first, for those of you on the live stream, thank you for being here. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want us to address, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll read it live on air here. So for me, what keeps me going is not about me, right? People need to hear the truth. Right? People need to hear the truth. So many people are living a lie, and they're telling themselves these stories to justify where they are in life. My other show, Shut Up and Grind, is about just that. Right? What are you working on? Like, or what is holding you back? And why are you allowing it? That's what people don't realize. Your state of mind, you are in control of your state of mind. Like nobody can make you feel a certain way without your approval. Okay. And people have to understand that you are in charge of what makes you mad. You are in charge of what makes you sad. You are in charge of what makes you happy. Right. And you are in charge of how you react to things. Right. People need to hear that message, whether it's in my gym, whether it's with my track and field athletes. It doesn't matter. The message is the same. It's like, no, you're seated fifth because you didn't push yourself hard enough in practice. That's why you're seated fifth. Not because the other four people are better than you, right? You didn't put in the effort that they put in. And it's the same thing with personal development. What are you why are you still tolerating that toxic person in your life? That negative person, that person that always wants to trash your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes, but yet you still associate with them, right? You are doing that. You are making those choices. So everything that I do every day is to help people get out of their own way. And that's what keeps me going.
Robert, I'm going to ask you a follow up question to that. You brought up that people are in control of how they react to things, how they make decisions. What do you think, Robert, is the reason why people continue to stay in discomfort, even though they gripe about it? They complain on social media. They have what I call the complainer's corner, if you know what I'm talking about. Why do you think it's so challenging for people to break free from that mindset of victim in order to attract and go after what it is that they really want to have the life that they want?
Because they normalize struggle. And I've done that myself. Like it's like I'm always climbing the mountain, climbing the mountain, climbing the mountain. And now it's like I'm ready to run down it. Like I'm tired of climbing, climbing, climbing. But I realized I put myself into that mental state and I normalized it. Like I do my best work when my back is against the wall because I've normalized struggle my entire life. Like going back to the basketball reference, like I want that last shot. I want all the pressure on me. It's like I want it to be if I make it, we win. If I miss it, we lose. Like I'm at that stage of my life now where I'm willing to take all of the shots. But people normalize the struggle and then they actually fear not struggling. Like the fear of success
Mm.
is actually a thing. So I think those are the two biggest reasons because they normalize the struggle and then they fear the change. It's not that they don't like change; they fear the change.
That
Mm.
part. That part. I think it's the fear. And I always say the magic happens outside of doing the thing that you are afraid to do. Right. And I remember I was thinking about this the other day. I went to Costa Rica several years ago, and we had gone on family vacations all the time. My husband would take my girls snorkeling, and I would never go snorkeling because I didn't want to see the fish that were swimming around me. But on this trip, not only did I go snorkeling for the first time in like how many opportunities I have, I never took it. And then I went ziplining. And I'm afraid of heights, but I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone and said, you know what? Do the thing that scares you. Now, there was one of the runs that they asked us to like do it by our knees, like do it upside down. I'm like, no. This is enough for me. This is enough for me. This is as scared as I want to be. But I have found that in my own life, when I do the thing that I think is a little bit scary, after I'm done, I'm always like, oh, that felt so good. And it's empowering and it makes you feel like, okay, next challenge. Now I'm not going to be bungee jumping or anything like that in the near future, because that doesn't sound fun at all to me. But I'm just saying, do the scary thing, because that is the thing that's going to help us grow.
Wait, Dawn, you mean to tell me you're not going to bungee jump to rescue the baby rabbit?
No, sorry.
Wait, the one who loves all the animals is going to bypass that one. Well, I don't blame you, Dawn. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I get what you mean about taking those risks, right? Because I mean, I always said that risk is the down payment for the reward.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, they become so complacent. I think I heard somebody say it best, that it's easier to stay in discomfort because you know it, instead of going after what you really want because it's foreign.
Well, the fear of the unknown, right? I mean, I think we don't know what's on the other side. And so we're like, oh, we'll stay small, we'll stay comfortable. Even if that's uncomfortable, it's still what we know. So we stay in what we know. And sometimes doing the thing that's like, I don't know what's going to happen after I take this leap, whether it's changing a job, changing a relationship, whatever risk it is. I think the fear of the unknown is what keeps a lot of people stuck in making that change, whatever it is.
Well, Dawn, you remember when we first met, I was working a job I hated again, and I confided in you. I didn't even want to tell my mom because my mom was still around at the time. I didn't want to tell her that I was going to quit. I did not want to tell her because I didn't want the shame. I didn't want the judgment. Not to say that my mom would, but I was afraid to share with her that this isn't fulfilling me. This is draining me. I feel like I'm suffocating in a tube full of nothingness and just ick. It just wasn't working for me. And I was like, no. And I'm just very grateful, Dawn. You brought up about connection and finding your tribe, waving that weird flag. And for our audience today who's tuning in, fear of rejection. That's correct. Yeah. For our audience who's tuning in, Dawn and Robert, I think some people struggle with connecting with people because there's that fear again of rejection. But as you reiterated, Dawn, waving that weird flag, being authentically you, how can people really set that intention to make real and genuine connections? Does it start with them? Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, just before she answers that, because I think what I have to say will perfectly set up her to answer that question.
Go ahead, Robert.
Is in my travels, right? In my travel, now not everything I do is perfect. And for the people on the live stream, I want to make one thing clear: this is not a replacement for therapy. This is just us sharing our lived experiences. So for me, I agree with the fear. I think most anxiety, depression, mental health struggles all stem from a fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not sure what that fear is. Like, people are anxious because they're afraid of something. People are depressed because they fear reliving something. And again, that's just in the thousands of people I've spoken to over the years. It usually comes down to that. But I want to use what Dawn shared as an example. The fear of heights, right? The fear of heights stems from a fear of falling, right? The presence that you could fall. That's what you're actually fearing. People fear connecting with people because they aren't connected to themselves. They're not living as their authentic self. And that was me. I used to be a people pleaser. I wanted everyone to like me. I'm a Leo. We love being adored, right? I love that. But then once I started being me, and once I started telling people the truth, I started attracting my tribe, like Dawn shared. The people that need my bold style, right? The people that need that harsh accountability, because not everybody needs that, but there are a section of the population that need to hear it the way I throw it out there. And they need to hear it the way Dawn says it, and they need to hear it the way you say it, Portia. So being your authentic self, like once you're connected with who you are at your core, you can be your true self, and that'll make you a better connector to other people.
You know what? I just posted something the other day. I love it so much. I think Bob Proctor said it, and he said, faith and fear both demand you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. And I love that.
Mm.
And I love the fear of falling. And, I want to share this metanoia moment. My dad died when I was 32. And he died the day after Father's Day. And he had a heart attack. I was going to visit him. He lived in Ohio. I live in California. We were going to go visit the following Wednesday. Because it was Father's Day, I got my last words to him were, Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you. I will see you next week. Well, I didn't get to see him, but after he passed, I remember thinking I was afraid to fly over oceans. I wanted to travel, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to fly. It's scary. But I remember thinking Dad died mowing the lawn. And that really kicked my butt, because I'm like, I could die mowing the lawn. I could die doing anything. So I'm going to keep from exploring and seeing all these places that I want to travel to because I'm afraid. And that's when I stopped allowing fear to run what I do. And it wasn't all at once, right? There was gradually getting to where I am now. But I think that we let fear dictate a lot of the choices that we make. And again, stepping outside of that fear and outside the comfort zone really is where all the magic happens.
Absolutely, yes. So I interviewed Medi on my show, Shut Up and Grind. And what she says here at the end, and thank you for being here, Medi. Fear loses much of its power when attention returns to the present moment. And I think that's so profound. Like I say in the gym all the time, people are like, oh, I have to do this on Saturday. I'm like, it's Monday. Like, what? Why are you bringing Saturday stuff to today? Enjoy today. So I think that's a very, very powerful statement.
I agree, because we spend so much time with, I have to get all of these things done during the week, instead of just being present in the moment where we are. Like right now, being present with the two of you. I remind myself every day to just be, right? Enjoy the moment, because I could feel myself. I haven't done lives in a long time. And I said, man, am I a little rusty? Do I have to go and find some WD-40 for humans? If that exists, I don't know. But I said, you know what? It'll all be fine, because I'm in connection with people who see me, who value me. And I brought this up last week when I did Rick Cram's podcast about how people, when they know that they're seen, when they're valued, when they know that they're in community with authentic people, and you're not just blowing smoke up their butt, they'll be more open to talk. What's the saying? You get more honey with, you attract more bees with honey than vinegar. And I think so many people are unintentionally wearing vinegar perfume, but they don't realize it because
that word, one of the words that I love so much that I learned in Africa was sawubona. And that means I see you, I value you, you are important to me. And that's the basis of all of my work, especially when I'm doing work with children, because I want them to know they matter, they're valuable, they have something important that only they can bring to this world and only the way they can bring it. So that is the cornerstone of my work, sawubona and Ubuntu. I am because we are.
Yes, and we are. I do too. Well, I know we're going to be signing off soon. So, Dawn, did you want to start off with any last words for our audience for today? And then, Robert, you can close us out.
Sounds good. I just want to reiterate how important gratitude is. I'm grateful that you guys are both in my life. I'm grateful that we're sharing this space together. And I'm just grateful that, I fly my weird flag as high as possible, and I'm finding my people, and that is made all the time.
Thank you, Dawn. I can second gratitude. Gratitude is a big part of my day, but I also want to reiterate to those who are listening out there the importance of sharing your story, because your story is not for you. Your story is to grant others permission to begin to heal through sharing their own because they've been afraid to for so long. So thank you so much. Robert, go ahead.
I want you to live in your own, like, be your best advocate. Okay, be your best advocate. You guys can never see this because my hand's always off screen, but I wear this band every single day. It says certified badass. And it's facing me. This isn't so other people can see it. It's a reminder to myself when times get tough, because the three of us, we're just as human as everybody else. We have tough times, and that's a reminder you can get through whatever it is you want to get through. The lock screen on my phone says shut up and grind, right? So I'm constantly reminding myself that you got this, no matter what it is. And I'll leave with a quick story. So I just had knee replacement surgery January 14th of this year, and people are like, "Oh, it's going to take you a year to do this. It's going to take you a year to do that." Before I even had the surgery, I put a obstacle race on the calendar for June 27th, which is next Saturday. No, Saturday after next. So it's a little less than 2 weeks away. And I walked into physical therapy and I said, "What's the record for getting out of PT after a full knee replacement?" And they said 8 weeks. I said, "Challenge accepted." Because at my true core, I'm a competitor. And I got out in 6 weeks. I said to them, "Do not use your average person protocol on me." I said, "I am not the average person." I said, "So you can't put someone who's 70 and sedentary on the same protocol as me, who's 51 and in shape. Like, we're not going to heal the same. Not to mention, the mind controls the body." So I told myself, I'm gonna decide when I heal, and I will be ready for that obstacle race in 13 days, and I'm going to be. I'm there. I have my tickets, but I decided that. The doctor didn't decide it. The physical therapist didn't decide it. I decided it, and I made it happen.
And there you have it, everybody. That was Dawn that you heard from, and also Robert on this first conversation of the Metanoia Effect. Don't forget to follow us. We'll be live every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific. And if you have a question that you want to submit, you'll be able to submit that in the show notes. There is a Google form, and we hope to hear from each and every one of you. Take care and see you all soon.
Wait, we got one last
Oh,
comment. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for this discussion. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
tuning in. All right, take care, everyone.